Good morning, students. I am Nivedita Singh of Marwadi College English Department. Today, I am going to take your online classes for elective English. As in previous videos, we have started novel The Financial Expert by R.K. Narayan. Today, we will continue the novel. Mriga's wife was overwhelmed by his activities. He asked her to clean up that single room in their house in which she slept with her child and into which all the household trunks and goods were also thrown. He then told her that he had been advised not to disclose his methods and purposes even to her. She asked him if he was practicing alchemy or magic. The little room was at last cleared. Their neighbors heard the noise of shifting and tried to spy on them. In that very small room, Mrigia splashed spots of water and from the well. He then commanded his wife to decorate the floor with white floor designs, a decoration necessary for all auspicious occasions. He had a string of mango leaves tied across the doorway. He took from a nail in the hall the picture of the goddess Lakshmi, put up a short pedestal and placed on it the picture of the four-armed goddess who provides over wealth, distinctions, bravery, enterprise, and all the goods things in life. When he carried the picture, his wife understood something of his plans and approved of them. He asked in his wife understood something of his plan and approved them. He asked her to keep mum. He also asked his wife to buy jaggery, turmeric, colored rice, fruit, refined sugar, black gram, cake, sweetened sesame, curd, spiced rice, and various kinds of fruits and honey. He gave her 100 rupees he had in his possession. He would require those things in small quantities morning and evening for offering, and most of them were also to be his diet during the period of japa. He also asked her to manage to milkman and the rest for some time by herself. His job was more urgent than anything else. A couple of days later, at the full moon, Mrigya began his rites. He sat before the image of Lakshmi. He shut the door, though his son banged on it from time to time. He kept only a slight opening of the window shutter through which a small ray of light came in but not the curiosity of the neighbors. He wore a linen cloth soaked in water. A variety of small articles were spread out before him in little panes. He inscribed a certain Sanskrit syllable on a piece of deer skin and tied it around his neck with a string. He had been in agony till he found the deer skin. The priest had also asked him to bring one red lotus from the pond. In a garden there were a ruined temple beyond Saryu and burn its petals to a pitch black and mix it with ghee made of milk drawn from a smoke colored cow and to put a dot of that mixture of lotus petals and ghee on his forehead exactly between his eyebrows after the prayer. Mriya went to the banks of Saryu. A cart was going towards the river. A whole day was spent by Mriya in going after the lotus. The man driving it recognized him. The villager gave him a lift in his cart. Mrigia got off the crossroads and waited till the cart disappeared down the road. He turned to his left and cut across a field. He cut across the field and walked half a mile and came upon a garden hedged off with brambles and thorn. The place looked wild and deserted. There was a pond with a red lotus. He tried to pluck the lotus flower from the pond, but he could not approach as the pool was full of pond was full of mud. Then he saw a journalist, the correspondent for the districts of a paper. He was about thereby Mrigia asked him to bring the red lotus. He bought him the red lotus gladly. He told Mrigia that in his spare time he used to write books, so he had picked that lonely place as a fit place for his work. He got placed there, Dr. Paul. He helped Mrigia in plucking the lotus and took him to his house. Dr. Paul also told him that he was writing a book about the science of love or sex or loving making. The book would be of practical benefit and serve as a guidebook to married couples. Dr. Paul told Mrigia falsely that he was a married man. But he had to leave his wife as she was a terrible woman and was unfaithful and tried to ogle every man who appeared before her. She was a woman with polyandrous tendency, but in reality he was not married. The next few days, Mrigia was lost to the outside world. He sat in the small room repeating, O goddess, who affordest shelter to all the fatigues, fugitive worlds, they fit by themselves are prophesied in affording immunity from fear and bestowing boons. He had to repeat it 1,000 times each day, sitting before the image of the goddess. He wore a red silk dhoti and simmered his forehead and body with sacred ash. His son's continued shout of Appa, Appa was heard by him as a distant muffled sound, and he did not care for it. A little light came through the small opening of the shutter. The room was filled with scent of incense, camphor, sandal, and dust and jasmine. All this mingled perfumed uplifted the heart and the thoughts of Mrigia. He was gratified at the thought of his wife's obedience. She was very much accommodating those days. As he sat down with his eyes shut, he said to himself, I have achieved difficult things. Grey cow's milk and butter, red lotus made into black paste. He also remembered Dr. Paul and his work. He felt an unholy thrill at the memory of Paul's book. It seemed as though his mind would not move from the subject. Some of the chapters' heading came to his mind, but he kept on repeating his prayer, O goddess, who affordest, etc. And unknown to him, his thoughts dipped out and roamed about, chiefly about the fruits of the patience he was undertaking. 40 days of this. Afterwards, he visualized his future. Each day it took him 8 hours to complete repetition of the mantras, and then he reverently put the black paste on his forehead, light the camphor, called in his wife and child, and sprinkled the holy water on them. His jaws As his tongue had made dry, he felt faint with hunger since he had to fast completely while praying. He followed his course for 40 days. When he emerged from the little room, he had a beard and mustache and hair on his neck. He had been told not to shave in the course of his penance. He looked venerable since he had to fast 8 hours in a day. His face was glowing with Trump. Today, up to this, we will continue in our next video.